everyone, welcome back to my channel. Firstly, thank you so much for subscribing. I hope you've been enjoying the videos and have been learning quite a bit through them. So this week's technique is actually quite an exciting one. I do say this about all of them, I think, but every week when I do my techniques I get really excited about the outcome and I just absolutely cannot wait to share it with you. So anyway, this is what we're going to be learning to knit today, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, it is a mix of transfer work and our favourite elongated stitch. The yarns that I've used are tape, shiny viscose, and a couple of ends of like really fine viscose, the one that shrinks when you press it. I personally love these yarns. You would have noticed that I've used them quite a bit in my other videos, but I'm trying to introduce a few different ones, but I just think I've been really having fun with open structures at the moment, and the yarns that I'm using, you can just do a lot more with it. So yeah, but anyway, I will be listing all of my yarns for sale soon. I have done it on my website, I'm just sort of waiting for it to go live. But if you are interested in like buying any of the ones that I'm using, just drop me a comment below or message me on Instagram or something and I can let you know when it's available. So I will come back to all my videos and update all of the links on there in case you are interested. But anyway, so I hope you enjoy the video. Again, let me know if you've got any questions or if you are looking for anything specific. I'd be more than happy to look into it and do a demo. All right, enjoy. So I've costed on a few needles and knitted a few rows in the cotton 4-ply. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer a 1-on-1 layout with a single prong tool. Okay, so I'm starting from the edge and basically transferring the second needle and then the fourth and then every other basically. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all across my knit. So it is a ladder layout, okay? So all of these needles that I've transferred out, which are now empty, I'm going to push all the way to the back of the bed. I'm going to go ahead and take my fine viscose blend yarn, which is this. So I'm using 2 ends of this. I'll just show you what a single end looks like, and then I'm using 2 of these. So this is the yarn that shrinks when you steam it. Okay, so my tension for this is going to be on 5. I'm going to go ahead and knit 2 rows. Okay, so I've done my 2. Now I'm going to push all of my needles into working position. And knit 2 rows. So that's ladders and eyelets. Okay, so now I'm going to do a transfer work again, and I'm going to be transferring the 4th and the 3rd needle over to the left, and then the 5th needle over to the right. So the layout that we're working with is 2 needles working, 3 out of action, 2 working, 3 out of action. Okay, so starting from here again, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th and the 3rd over to your left, and 5th over to your right. So just continue to do so until the end. Just to repeat, the layout that we're working with is 2 working, 3 out of action. Okay, so now I haven't actually planned my needle layouts according to the technique, but of course you can do so. You can see that I'm actually left with an extra needle on the edge, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there. Right, so all of my empty needles are pushed to the back of the bed. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my yarn to the shiny viscose, okay, which is
that one here. I do love my viscose yarns, I must admit. I've actually got about 4 different kinds of them, 4 different yarns. Okay, so going ahead and put that in the feeder, and my tension is still on 5. Again, you can actually change your tension down to a slightly tighter one if you like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do 1 row. Okay, so I've actually gone ahead and pushed all of my working needles all the way forward, just so it's slightly easy for the carrot to move across. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and knit 2 rows. That's 1 and 2. And now I'm going to push all of the remaining empty needles into working position and knit 1 row. Okay, so this time we're going to go ahead and do transfer work again. So I'm going to go back to my 1-in-1 transfer, so transferring the 2nd needle out, then the 4th, and then every other basically. So go ahead and do so all across. Once you've done your transfer work, we're going to go ahead and work with elongated stitch. Okay, so again, the technique is on one of my other videos if you need to see it a little bit more in detail. So push your needles slightly over to the back and where the stitch is laid, just beyond the latch, and I am going to do the elongated stitch with tape yarn. Now I'm using just a different color, but it's the same as the one on the swatch, but it's just a different color. So it's the cotton tape. Go ahead and lay it across the needles, just over, and pull it one at a time. So I'm working on a 1-in-1 layout. Right, weight the knit down, and now we're going to do a transfer layout again. So we're going to go ahead and transfer every other needle, so every other needle over to the right. Now at this point you can actually do whatever layout you like. The beauty of the technique of elongated stitch is that it's got quite a bit of give and stretch, so you can actually stretch out to do a wider transfer. Okay, so I'm going to push all my working needles forward. Currently my layout is 1 working, 3 out of action, 1 working, 3 out of action. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and push the center needle of the empty needles into working position. I'll just push it all the way forward. And now I'm going to go ahead and knit 2 rows. So that's 1 and 2. And now basically I'm going to repeat my pattern. So my repeat is that section here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and push all of my needles into working position. So from here on is my repeat. So I'm going to do 1 more of it just so it's a bit more clear for you. Okay, so push all of your needles into working position. I'm going to go back to using my fine viscose yarn, the 2 ends, and I'm going to knit 2 rows. Okay, so once you've done so, go ahead and do your transfer work again. So transferring the 4th and the 3rd needle to the left and the 5th to the right. I'm going to change my yarn to the shiny viscose, and I'm going to knit 1 row, push the center needle of the empty needles into action, so into working position. Knit 1, knit 2, and then push all of the empty needles forward and knit 1. Go ahead and do your 1-in-1 layout, so transferring every other needle out. Like so, and then we're going to do the elongated stitch. So push the needles slightly over to the back and lay the yarn over. Withen it down and go ahead and do your 1-in-1 transfer again, so transferring every other needle to the right. So your layout will now be 1 working and 3 empty. So 1 working and 3 out of action. Okay, push the center needle of the empty needles into working position. Change your yarn back to the 2 ends of viscose, and once you've transferred it out, we need to go ahead and knit 2 rows in the shiny viscose. 1, 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my yarn to the 2 ends of the fine viscose and push all of my needles into working position. Knit 1, knit 2, and then from here on you go and do your 2 working, 3 needles out, 2 working, 3 needles out transfer. Okay, so just to repeat the pattern really. So you've got all of your needles working. Okay, go ahead and do your transfer work, which is the 3rd and the 4th out and the 5th to your right. So you had all of your needles working, go ahead and do the transfer work where you've got 2 needles working, 3 out of position, 2 needles working, 3 out of position. You knit 1 row in the shiny viscose, push the center into working position once you've knit the 1 row. And then you knit 1 and then you push all into working position and go ahead and knit another. Then you do your 1-in-1 transfer and then you do the elongated stitch, push the center needle back in, knit 2 rows and then push all in and knit all. Now it's quite a simple technique, so I think if you get a little bit confused, I would suggest writing down what I'm doing and then following your notes. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. Please do subscribe below and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already done so. I do have a lot of work that comes up on there, but I will see you next week with a new technique. Goodbye.